Hey guys, this is Tom Box. Welcome to MST.TV, and as promised, I'm delivering to you guys my second Drytron video. This is post-testing. I played against Pack, I played against Team Samurai X1, and let's just say someone's not really happy about Ben 10. It was pretty fun. I got to play against Team Samurai X1 live because he paid me a quick little visit. Yeah, my first YouTube visitor. That's really cool. That's coming up in an upcoming video. And then we also played against a couple of people online. I played at my locals, and this is what I have to share with you guys. And we're going to be doing hand testing as promised. Can the deck play through Droll and Lockbird? And it's not just Droll and Lockbird. There's other hand traps that we have to be aware of now because the format has dictated, things have shifted. It's not just Drytrons, but the Tri-Brigade Zoo deck, dinosaurs, especially Scrap Dino actually made it to the finals of the Remote Duel Invitational. So that's maybe a deck that we might have to look out for because maybe it gets a little bit more popular. But anyways, without further ado, let's jump in. So make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button, hit subscribe, ding notification bell so that we get to do these in-depth hand testing. Now the hand that we're going to be testing against are mainly going to be Droll first, and then if there's any additional cards, we'll do Veiler as well. And we're going to see how we can play through it with the additional Veiler. But let's go through a quick profile. I'm just going to clump it all together when we talk about certain cards. So for our Drytron's Triple Alpha, still a really important card that you want to see because it is one of your key starters. However, not necessarily one of the first starters you want to open with. Then we have Triple Zeta. Sometimes you want the Zeta to get you the ritual spell. Setting up the first ritual spell I think is one of the most important. You want all your components together, and that's why it's very important. But if you're going to be eating a Droll, the first card probably you want in your hand is going to be the Gamma. If you don't have the Gamma, you're going to be pretty stuck. And I play one Delta. Pack plays two Deltas. He wants to max out on the number of Drytron names because Gamma is a one card beta, which could either be both the Zeta or the Alpha, really depending on what you want. But it is extremely useful to give you the additional names to play with, especially when you're under Droll. And the Delta could provide you with additional draw. I don't want to max out on that name just yet. I haven't really given the full test. Triple Divine of the Herald. This card is going to get negated off the charts because people are going to hit it with an Imperm, people are going to hit it with a Veiler, they're going to Ash it. The reason for doing that, it keeps its level at 2. That's important because preventing you from getting a 6 means it turns off your ability to get Beatrice and prevents you from getting that search. This is a double hit on a hand trap, which made it one of the highest priority for hand trapping. Veiler, Imperm, Gamma, there's just a lot of stuff that can hit this, but typically people want to save the Gamma for one of your Xyz monster instead. Now for hand traps, I play one Lancia. You can play more if you want, depending on the matchup. You have Dinosaur and Tri-Brigade as a key like turn skipper for this one. I think it's worth it. If you get one search off of Ben 10, you could totally just go for the Artifact Lancia, and they would probably have a more fun time against you, or rather they would probably get a turn skip. Triple Herald of Orange because this is your version of Gamma, and it's also searchable, prevents you from getting hit by Droll. One of the cards that you want to dig for in your first potential pot of prosperity. We have one Ava. You don't need two anymore. I'm not focusing on the Megalith package anymore because the Megalith package, whatever that can hit the Herald Diviner, basically your Megalith can get hit, and you can actually get really stuck with it. And that means you probably don't want cards that you can't really normal summon, or if you're going to normal summon something, you want to be able to bait out some form of hand trap. Well, if your bait doesn't really get negated or anything, that means you can still use it to capitalize on more effects. Just one Ava is enough because it's still a really good card, getting you that double search. And once you get to like Herald of Ultimateness, you probably win with the Ava in hand because 3 negations, including summon negation, is pretty rough on your opponent. Now as for the Cyber Angel package, 1 Ida 10, 1 Ben 10, 1 Natasha. Some people cut the Natasha. I think that's wrong to cut the Natasha, but who knows, maybe I'm just stupid. But Natasha has come up more times than one, especially against certain matchups where if you threaten the early Natasha, any additional monster that they try to play, when they construct their board, they always have to consider Natasha as a threat to steal one of their monsters and potentially leading to an OTK. Other bosses, 1 Meteorus Draconids and 1 Herald of Ultimateness. This is self-explanatory. Draconids, very useful card, especially when if someone's paid a lot of life points to kind of prevent you from killing them, or if they built a board to stop you, like you got Droll, this is a pretty good card to actually have on the field because this is a form of disruption. You can banish some of your Drytrons. Sure, you're cutting out your long game, your grind game, but you can also prevent them from setting up, and 4K does shorten up the game quite a bit, and it can't be hit by a according to Pack, one of the main reasons is you can't target it for one thing, and you can't get hit by the Dogmatic Punishment. Now into the spell line, we have 2 Pot of Prosperity. You should probably activate this as your first card to dig for a Gamma. Okay, 2 things you can dig for: Herald of Orange or the Gamma. It's totally worth just adding the card straight up, and there are 6 cards you can probably get rid of if you're really that desperate, or you can just get rid of 3 if you have a decent hand already and everything's all right. Now we play 2 Meteorus Drytron. I've seen it time and time again. This card getting banished pretty early on, it is really awful. This is one of the cards that lets you play that grind game. It lets you resummon out your bosses, and like you can summon out Edaten to grab this card from your deck as well, which means you can surprise your opponent because your opponent is counting if you use the graveyard activation already and how to disrupt you. Like, oh, do I negate the Edaten to prevent you from getting your card? Well, what if I say there's 3 ways to actually get this card, and one's through Herald of the Arc Light to add this straight from the deck, one's through Edaten, and one's through your Zeta. And if they can't stop all of it, that's your advantage to actually cycle these cards into your hand. 1 Drytron Fafnir, because you don't want to set up Droll for your opponent, and a lot of people, they're also playing cards like Anti-Spell Fragrance, making a hand like this pretty dead. Anti-Spell Fragrance is going to be a fairly common card that we're going to see time and time again now. Triple Cyber Emergency, because this card, even if it does get its activation negated, you can still like discard a card and add it back to you and activate it again. Fairly useful, and you can also add the Big Boss to get yourself a nice ritual into your hand. Foolish Burial, probably one of the harder cards for your opponent to interact with because they can ash it, but then you have everything else, and you want to see Drytron Nova because this is the card that you can play while you're still under Droll. I still play Instant Fusion. In fact, this card kind of acts as a double hand trap eater, because if they have only a single hand trap being just the Droll, then Droll is now a moot point at this point, because you can actually set up your board, get the Herald of Ultimatus, and then re-overlay with the Millenniumized Restrict, works in your favor. Prep rights cut down to 2 now because I've gotten hit by Droll too many times with this, and this is not exactly a card. I mean, you can play it as a card to immediately search out your ritual monsters if that play allows you to, but the other thing is that you should probably save this for more like a later gameplay where you have the ritual spot in the graveyard to double up your pluses and to kind of act as like a miniature Edaten. That's where you get the max value with the card. Then there's 1 Call by the Grave, and I play triple Imperm over the droplets at the moment, just because people are playing too much anti-spell cards against this, not just anti-spell fragrance, but also Imperial Order. You're just going to see it, and it hurts when you can't do very much, which forces you only limited to your Zeus line of play. And if that gets completely disrupted, it's going to hurt. You can also use this Imperm to turn off some of the more annoying floodgate monsters, like maybe someone's playing Barrier Statue. That's the main deck lineup. It is about 42, 43 cards right now. As for the extra deck lineup, this is the current lineup right now. Beatrice, although you're not likely going to summon it very often if you're playing against someone that's going to disrupt you a lot. We have 2 Mu Beta. You have to play 2. Don't play 1. Your turn 2 that comes back to you once you survive, you want to put out the second one. You're not going to be able to, and that's going to cut your monster body short by 3. That's a very significant number. Of course, we have the Zeus style package right here: 1 Leerless Nightingale, Downward, and the Zeus. 1 copy of Herald of the Arc Light, but you can also kind of just cut this if you don't need it. You can just play 2 Arc Lights and give up the Entis, but Entis is just really useful for taking out floodgates, and it's also a priority thing for you to just pop something. It makes Diviner more versatile, and versatility is pretty useful. 1 Millenniumized Restrict. The level 1 is just fantastic. 1 Link Haribo. You don't need like double up anymore on like the Link 1s anymore, at least not to my knowledge. 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 IP Masquerena. This is a pretty self-explanatory package. I currently have switched out the access code talker for Boral Sword. Boral Sword just hits harder, and it's easier to deal 6k worth of damage with a Boral Sword plus a 2k of a Drytron rather than trying to punch with a 5.3k. It's kind of awkward, like that 700 life that they get left behind sometimes to come up, and it is not that great for me. And we also have 1 copy of Appaloosa. I switched it out for the other goddess because it's hard to summon out this goddess. This goddess is great for stunning people and getting rid of their cards, but you have to build a full board, and full board building is not that easy. But for this testing case, we are going to be showcasing the full extra deck with everything that we have, and this is kind of how you should be testing. Overfill your extra deck just so that you know what is useful, what is not. Anyways, let's go to some quick testing here. Okay, we have shuffled up. Our first hand trap we're going to be dealing with is going to be a Droll Lockbird. So we'll keep the Veiler aside for now. So mainly just one Droll. How badly is that one Droll based on my current build of test hands? So it's been shuffled up. We've cut, and let's go for our first hand. I'm going to be going first on this one. Okay, this hand is, well, kind of unplayable. Yeah, I can play through the Droll, I guess. But this hand leads me nowhere. I'm probably going to die. Yeah, well, this is a very unlikely hand because literally this is kind of like drawing Exodia pieces right here. Normal summon out Diviner of the Herald. We'll go, well, you have to do something. So if you are forced to play a hand like this, Autumn Herald of the Arclight, I'll get my search. In fact, I'm probably gonna let him Droll. It's not gonna bother me. I'm probably gonna dig for, well, there's nothing really that useful here because I can't summon anything. Ben 10 is not even that great, but I guess at least it's a ritual. They're gonna throw out Droll, and that is the end of the turn. At least I can negate 2 monsters, and that's gonna see if I can actually make a proper play here. I'm probably gonna negate it in this particular fashion if you're gonna be stuck negating, because these two save the Ben 10 so that if you do draw a Drytron, do I get the Drytron? I'm gonna cut. And if I got a Drytron, maybe I'll be able to play. That's kind of how you're forced. Okay, so with this, yeah, it's much better. However, if they have a follow-up hand trap the turn after, you're probably still going to die if you didn't get OTK'd. So this one is kind of a maybe situation if these 2 heralds were enough. They have to read this hand. This is not an easy hand to read because this is like a very low chance hand where you draw 3 of, well, that's probably pretty much the end of this hand. So for test number 2, we've got a Pot, a Zeta, an Ava, and a Herald of Orange. Okay, this already eats the Droll and Lockbird, but if they double up, if they have Gamma plus Droll, this won't save you. You get to not do anything with the Ava either because you don't get to add once the Gamma goes through. So this is very painful if they have double hand trap. The second one specifically being Gamma. Okay, in this particular instance, we don't really have a good hand. These 2 are not going to lead to a full board, so we're going to have to start with a Pot of Prosperity and basically bait out a Droll and Lockbird. We're basically using this to dig for an orange light or additional Drytron. Okay, well, I guess we're kind of forced to see what we got. Okay, we got an Alpha, which is great. Oh, hold on. I have to banish cards first. So there's an Alpha there. We'll take away a Link Rebo, Entis, Nightmare Phoenix, a later game, a Palooza, Downer Magician, and we'll take out our Millennium Eyes Restrict. Millennium Eyes Restrict, you're still going to get Drolled, but you can use it as a level 1 body, but it's sometimes enough. Maybe you have to assess what you have in your hand. Sometimes you want to keep the Link Rebo, but I'm choosing to keep the double Mu Beta because in this particular hand, you are going to burn your Ava pretty early on, and if you can't get the double search, there's no point in finishing your board with Herald of Ultimateness. That's the long-term thinking. So that's why I'm keeping the Mu Beta, because I probably want to end with Meteona's Drytron instead. Just because that card, or rather the Meteona's Draconids, because I can pop cards and I can turn my Mu Betas that are on the field as negation. So that's what I'm going to go with. So I revealed an Alpha. Let's go with Alpha. Another Pot. That's not that great. Natasha's pretty useless. And an Alpha. Okay, this is not giving me very many choices, and an Imperm. Okay, I'm just gonna go for the Alpha. There's no real question here what I was gonna grab. These can go to the bottom. I'm taking half damage. I don't get any more draws, but this is actually pretty magnificent. They're gonna maybe activate Droll and Lockbird at this point if that's the only hand trap, but can we play through Droll? Well, in this particular case, I basically have full combo, unless they have a second Droll and Lockbird to kind of follow up on that. I'm gonna Herald that, and that's gonna get negated. I'm gonna turn this off. So that gets turned off. I'm going to activate the Ava, banish the Herald of Orange, and I don't really need to showcase this particular combo for any reason, because you guys know that this will lead to a full board. Okay, test hand number 3, we are going to try for the Droll and Lockbird, and maybe not the Veiler for now. We'll see how that goes. So starting hand, we have Editen, Natasha, Nova. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, we have Foolish Burial, and an orange light. Okay, clearly we have the ability to stop Droll. Maybe we will play with the Veiler. So we'll put both hand traps here. Okay, let's just play through. So we're gonna I personally would probably start with the Drytron Nova, although I could probably just start with the Foolish Burial, see where that takes me, because I can still just use the Foolish Burial or Drytron Nova to kind of lead to the same Gamma at the end if I do get like heavily hand trapped. For this one, I'm gonna start off with an Alpha just because I can stop the Droll and Lockbird, but it is a bit greedy to start with this particular play. Alpha, I'm gonna link it off into a Linkuriboh. Nothing really effect variable. I'm going to activate the Alpha. If this is a game one, I'm not expecting Skullmeisters at the moment, but it could happen. I mean, Skullmeister is still a very powerful card. And then you can also stop like Tri-Brigade stuff, so it's not something that is unexpected. Activate the Alpha, retribute one of the fairies. Luckily we have two, so we'll get rid of the Natasha, special summon the Alpha. Alpha is going to grab a Ben 10, who is at the bottom. And then now with the Ben 10 add, the Droll and Lockbird is probably going to come down. I'm going to negate it, throwing the Eda 10 into the grave. This is kind of specific here. And then if they have Gamma, then they definitely have me here. I'm going to be stuck. But in this particular case, say they don't, but they have an Effect Veiler to follow up. Is that a good enough follow-up for the Effect Veiler? It really depends. Okay, I'm going to activate Foolish Burial. I'm going to go for Zeta. You can go for Gamma if you don't feel safe, because you don't really know what kind of hand traps they have. And if you want to have a proper card ending play, then you probably want to go for something like Zeta. But this is still pretty decent, considering you get to do a Ben 10 Zeta. And okay, that's engrave. Activate the Zeta. Tribute the Ben 10. And get the search of the Meteona's Drytron. There it is. Ben 10's effect, we get the Herald. From here, I'm going to normal summon out the Diviner of the Herald. And see, this is an awkward point for the Veiler. Do they want to stop the Beta coming out, the Mu Beta, or do they want to stop the Herald from getting the search? This is kind of a bit of a doubt. If it's Gamma, 100% just go for the monster, because you get to kill the entire body. That in itself is worth it. Sometimes you actually have to think hard just to not activate your Beta so that you can get your play to go through. And sometimes you really just don't need it. But okay, and in this case, we're going to say they negate the Beta. I'm not sure if that makes a very big difference. You know, we can see the line to go through. So this goes through. We're going to change his level to 6 by throwing in the Herald. I think if this goes through, we get to win. I think we can build the full board. That's going to activate the Herald of Arclight. We're going to grab, I guess we'll grab the best fairy. The best fairy being the Herald of Ultimateness. Don't forget to add. If you don't add the Herald of Ultimateness, I think you're going to end up with a dead end play. From here, we're going to go into the Beta, which we will probably try to throw in the Gamma, but that's going to get negated by the Effect Veiler. So Effect Veiler has been gone through, so this is kind of effectless. I'm going to activate the Meteona's Drytron, because we already have the 6. We can toss this into the grave. We're going to revive an Eda 10. Eda 10 effect. We're going to grab a Meteona's Drytron from the deck. I'm playing 2 after all. Okay, so we got the Meteona's Drytron. We have this. Yeah, you can add a ritual spell from your deck to your or graveyard to your hand, and now we can overlay these two because they're both 6s into Beatrice. In a rare instance where if your Beta fails, and the reason why I had to get rid of the entire body is because the continuous effect to detach is no longer available once I got negated, and it's still worth it. So this is in my hand now because I got added from Eda 10, and we're gonna activate Beatrice's effect. We're gonna detach the Eda 10. And we're going to toss in the Gamma. So yes, because we added the Ultimateness, we can definitely toss in the Gamma. This is really solid. Get the Gamma effect, trade in the Ultimateness for the Gamma. And Gamma is going to special summon back my Alpha. Cool. With the Alpha, we're going to overlay these two. This is why you have to play a second copy of the Mu Beta. Now we can activate Meteona's Drytron. We're going to detach this, summon back the Ultimateness. So that's still a board that's pretty decently developed. Activate the Meteona's Drytron, reduce your attack by 1,000, so at least you'll have 1 copy in your hand. And you can even get a second copy into your hand thanks to the other one that's tossed in the graveyard. I actually do like having a second copy. Even if that one gets crowed, you're not going to be out of place. And during your opponent's main phase, they draw a card, you detach, and yeah, you just play through it. You just play through whatever you have. Unfortunately, that Link Karibo doesn't let you go into an IP Masquerena, so you're kind of stuck with this board, especially if you want the negation. And that was a 5-card hand, and luckily I did not use my Ava, so this is the part where you toss in the Ava. So let's toss in the Ava. Ava Engrave, Diviner of the Herald, and let's get rid of Arc Light. Banish those two, grab Diviner, and grab Arc Light. So this is a double negation board. This is decent considering that was a 2 hand trap playthrough, although Gamma is a big change. Why don't we switch it up with Gamma now? Okay, we're just gonna shuffle up like just a couple more times, and I think there's an extra deck card in here. I do see it. Hold on, let me just fan this through. By the way, if you guys want to pick up some of these sleeves, you guys can check it out, MSTmerch.com. Very beautiful foil sleeves, that's right. Different levels of foiling all the way through. Yeah, cool. Anyways, enough of a self-plug. Let's see what we get. Draconids, that's cool. Nova, that's alright. Natasha, Lancia, Orange. It's not the best hand. Okay, we'll see what we can do. We'll have to try to play through this at the very least. It's very difficult to actually set up 2 names now because with only 1 Nova, there is no way I can get a proper setup. And okay, well, I guess we'll have to try. We're gonna activate Drytron Nova, and this is because I do play so many of these. At least I can stop the Droll, but that's gonna get 100% gammaed. But I don't think even Droll is an issue here because I think I can only establish 1 search. This grabbing that, I don't have a search. I think I'm just gonna go directly for Zeta. Zeta might be my best bet here. Special summon out Zeta. I'm going to link off the Zeta. I don't want to die, so I'm still going to make a Link Karibo. And for what it's worth, I'm going to activate the Zeta. And I'm going to tribute... Well, I'm going to keep this in my hand because this is as a machine and as a ritual material, it has a lot more value. I'm going to toss this in, and I'm going to special summon out my Zeta. Will they Gamma at this point? This is really 50-50. Do they really want to hit it with a Gamma? If they hit it with a Gamma, that means they can't imperm anymore. They still have Droll, which is decent. If they hit me with a Gamma, they have to have a really strong read to actually do this. If they do try to Gamma me, then yes, I will toss out these 2 to make sure I can build something of a board. It's not the best board, but giving up the Lancia is pretty painful. If I know the matchup, then I'll let them Gamma me and then I'll just Lancia them back. If I don't know the matchup, maybe I'll toss it out. Like, it's a hard read depending on the matchup. If you already know the matchup of game 2 and 3, then you can make the right call. In this case, see, I do stop them. I want to see where this board actually leads. So there goes the Gamma, but the Droll is still live. So I'm going to get that search. Likely going to face a Droll now. So I can't get any more searches, which is pretty good on the other end, but in this hand I can't really do very much, so I am going to play the Meteor's Drytron. I will tribute this, summon out my Natasha. Natasha, if I gain 500 life points, and hopefully time is called. I don't know, this is as far as I'm going to be able to take this hand, for sure, because like I attributed the Zeta. This is engraved, I can't add it back. That's basically the end of this turn. Yeah, surprisingly not very eventful. All right, test hand number 5. 1 shuffle. Let's do something fun. Let's roll a die here. 5. We'll cut the top 5 cards off the deck. Well, we'll cut and then shave the top 5. So we'll shave 5 from here. Those go to the bottom. This goes to the top. And let's draw. Alpha, Instant Fusion, Drytron. This is kind of what I'm talking about. The double hand trap scenario. Okay, well, starting the very first play, we're going to go with the Instant Fusion because it's the safest bet for me. I'm going to put up Millennium Ice Restrict. Oh man, Gamma is going to be so good. I lose 1,000 life points. Let's get this done. With this hand, I want to get... It's so hard to make this call. Do you want to guarantee a search of a Drytron Nova? You know, it's probably the best bet. Getting the Nova is better than getting a Benton because I can't Ritual Summon right now. So Fafnir is the best bet. We're going to go ahead and grab Nova. Nova is probably the best card to grab right now, and I'm going to accept it. If they have Ash, they have Ash. They can Droll me now, and I'm going to expect the Droll because I can't really stop it. They're going to Droll. I'm going to activate Millenniumize. They're going to Gamma, so the Droll does go through, and I get no more searches for the rest of the turn. That also blows up my Millenniumize Restrict, so I'm playing with this hand now, under the Droll. Okay, well, I can take it as far as I can, I suppose. This is not too bad, I think. I can get the Ritual spell into the grave. I'm going to start off with, say, a Nova, I think. Let's go with a Nova. I am under Droll. They burn 2 hand traps, 3 cards left in hand. How do I play this? I can't search anything, so the best card is to grab this. Yeah, probably the best card to grab. I can actually do quite a bit. Not gonna lie, this is pretty decent. Let's go with Alpha Effect. Yeah, let's go with Alpha Effect. Put in Meteonis Drytron. Special summon out the Alpha. The Gamma hasn't been used yet, so I'm gonna overlay the 2. And let's go with Mu Beta. I'm gonna expect that I'm not gonna get a 3rd hand trap, because if I get a 3rd hand trap, well, it's GG anyway. With the Mu Beta, yeah, let's grab this. Let's try this out. A Mu Beta. We're going to dump into the graveyard Meteonis Drytron. Okay, Meteonis Drytron has been grabbed. Let's activate Meteonis Drytron, reduce the attack by 1,000. Grab it back to my hand. I mean, I can definitely put this card in the field. This is useless. Let's go with Meteonis Drytron. Detaching both of these. Summon out Draconids. I don't like this play. I really don't like this play, but it's better than nothing. Okay. And now I'm going to activate the Gamma. Tributing the Mu Beta. Special summon. Now, I've already burned my effect to add it back. So the Gamma effect, special summon out the Alpha. Let's just overlay these 2 into 2nd. Mu Beta. I think this is as good as I can actually really push it. This way I have at least 1 spell negate, and I have a double pop. Or is it double pop? I think I only have single pop. Single pop because I only have 1 Drytron name in here. Unless I negate the spell card first, then I can pop 2 cards. That's kind of as good as it gets. Not gonna lie, it's not too bad, considering that we are stuck under a Droll. Would they actually hand trap me like this? I don't know, but that's a potential board that you could end on. Okay, this final test here, we're going to do a triple hand trap, and it's going to be hitting the most effective cards possible. We're going to shuffle up. I mean, if I die, I die. I mean, these are some hands to be expected. It's not like there's a continuous spell card that just doesn't allow your opponent to activate cards in their hand, or like a spell card that just turns off cards activating in the hand. Well, that card would really suck, especially if it's for both players. That would be pretty awful. I have a Gamma, Meteonis Drytron, Fafnir, Foolish Burial, and Diviner. This is not too bad. I actually kind of like this kind of hand. It's okay. We're 100% eating the we're eating the card 100%, but let's see what kind of hand that we can actually develop. So if I start off, I think the best card to start off with this one is that I want to be able to add a card into my hand, which is a Drytron monster. So Fafnir is what I'm going to go for, and I'm going to expect myself to completely get drolled. And we'll see what happens. Maybe this is not the right move. Maybe going for the Diviner is the better move. Maybe they can droll me through there. Yeah, or maybe they'll effect failure. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's grab the Drytron Nova since they don't have an Ash. I know I haven't tested the Ash, but maybe you guys can test it out yourself. If I made any kind of misplay, leave it down in the comment section. Maybe I'm just not playing this properly, but this is how you should be at least attempting to play test with your deck. Droll comes down after I got my search. That's going to be live, so let's just put it right here. That's live. 2 hand traps remaining. Normal summon out the Herald is not going to do me any favors at this point, aside from changing her level to 6, which can still be valuable, but I don't have a way to actually summon out a 6 right now, unless my Foolish Burial is something else. Yeah, that's the only option, is I Foolish Burial another fairy, and then I get myself that summon. So next I'm going to activate Meteonis, not Meteonis Drytron, but Drytron Nova. I have the Gamma in hand. There's nothing that gives me any searches, so going for the long-term play, having Meteonis already, I'm just going to go for the Alpha. That's cool. Normal summon the, or special summon the Alpha. The bodies aren't that great. I can hold off on this one for now. So Nova is gone. Then if Gamma is going to hit me, it's going to hit me pretty hard. I don't really have a choice here. I need to keep this in my hand, so I'm going to play Foolish Burial. For if I go Gamma, it's going to get blown apart right away. If I go for a Zeta now, which is kind of neat, Zeta can generate the second body, which is surprisingly pretty good. Zeta generated the second body. Activate the Zeta. Tribute the Gamma. If they see this, they're probably going to wait for the Gamma. Wait for their Gamma to my Gamma. So if this one comes out, if I overlay this into the not Divine, the Mu Beta effect activates, they can either kill it with the Gamma right away, or they can use the Veiler. Veiler is not bad either, or I'm not going to be able to successfully get all my effects off right here, and I don't think I can even build a decent board. This is getting negated for sure. Let's Gamma, no, let's effect Veiler this, because I can just, they can save the Gamma for the one in the graveyard. So effect Veiler. This gets negated. That hurts. I'll normal summon out the Diviner. They probably won't hit me with a Gamma, because Gamma's still in the graveyard, unless this has more value. If the Gamma can't do anything, say I tribute the Gamma, I could summon another one. They might wait. Let's think about this. Let's think about this, guys. Diviner can toss into the graveyard. Can't really search. I'm under Droll. All right. So Diviner really has no value except for dumping a monster into the graveyard. Say I do dump a monster, and if I dump one from the deck, this is not going to be 6 anymore, and that actually kind of makes a big problem. So the Gamma is probably going to save it for the Gamma. I think that's probably the better play. So if I toss into the graveyard, there's nothing that great I can toss. That's a fairy. Ugh. This is so weird and awkward. I guess I can toss in a Ben 10. I'm not thinking straight. I'm just gonna do it. And then if I activate, I can't really activate this. If I activate Meteonis Drytron, I lose the entire thing. Well, if I go for this is kind of neat. Meteonis Drytron, get rid of the entire body. They can't stop this one. Get the Ben 10, I guess. And then I can activate my Gamma. That's gonna get Gamma'd. Getting rid of this body. Summoning back the Eltanin while not getting the body at all. And then I get the Angel, Cyber Angel Ben 10 effect. I can grab a Lancia. Ugh, this is so awkward. This is not very good. I mean, I can add like a Herald of Ultimateness. I could add E to 10. E to 10 might give me a little bit more to play with. But if they have combo next turn, I'm basically dead. I mean, triple hand trap here. I don't have a board left to play. I mean, this is pretty easy to OTK through if you're an OTK style deck. And if you want to maintain control, just go for a Dweller next turn. I'm dead. Yeah, that's the end of this board. All right, that's all I got for this video, guys. If you guys want to see more test hands, well, you guys can try it out yourself. If there's anything you guys want to comment on, like maybe my choices, leave it down in the comment section. I would like to improve my play as well. whether or not those were the best choices in terms of like the timing. I typically do get hit on the diviner a lot, and that's why I had to cut out the megalith package. I mean, it's still really strong, but you really don't need that heavy of a package. You should probably focus on getting out your combo as much as you can, and that's why the additional pieces to lead into some sort of end board, some sort of ritual summon, is going to be one of the key factors of surviving the turn. Well, I think that's all I got for this video, guys. It might not be the most ideal of Drytron videos, but thanks for watching anyways, guys. Really appreciate it. Check out MSTmerch.com. If you guys are a new patron, I know I got a couple new patrons. I'll give you guys a shout out next time, but you're probably on the list already. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.